Okay, welcome back. This is Miss Dennis again, working on drawing a human face to the best of our ability. So we are starting with part 2. In the previous video, we started with drawing the shape of the head, and then we did our guidelines. So we're going to focus in on the eyes. I often say that's where you really want to make sure that you spend most of your time, because if you don't get the eyes right, a lot of the other parts of this are not going to be believable. So there are some proportion facts that we know. When we are looking at someone's face, obviously the width of both eyes are going to be the same, but there's also, some people don't know this, the distance between the two eyes is also going to be the same width as an eye. And I'll show you what I mean. So I am going to, this is something that I like to do to try to find out kind of where the center of your eyes will be. So I'm looking at this middle line that we did and the side of the face and estimating. I wanted to try to find the middle point. Okay. And again, I'm drawing these very lightly. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And this is may seem like a lot of work, but you'll find that some of what we do, it lines up. It really does. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Remember, whatever we do on one side, we do the same thing on the other because it is symmetrical. So I'm going to look at this middle line and the side line here, and I'm going to estimate about where the middle of that would be. And then I'm going to bring that line down right here. Okay. If the eyes are looking straight ahead, this is another way that we'll be able to make everything the same size. So I'm going to look for the distance between this middle line and this line that we just did here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other. So you'll see that this distance that we have here for the center of the eyes, that's going to let me know how wide both of these other eyes should be. So then I'm going to take, I use the side of my pencil and then mark it with my thumb right here. And that's about how wide that eye is. So then I'm going to come over here. And these are all estimating. There's going to be some fluctuations between what we do here. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we're noticing these are a little bit off. They're not directly in the center, but you can adjust that. So I know this looks a little strange, but we're going to keep going. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw the outer part of the eye. And these points that we've marked here, those guidelines that we've done, those are going to help us figure out where the sides of our eyes are going to go. So we're going to start here and draw all the way over like that. Okay, so we've got this part right here. So we're going to come over here and do the same thing. We're going to start at the corner. And the highest part of this eye shape is going to be in the center, and then it's going to come right back down. Sometimes I tell my students it looks something like a football shape. Okay. All right. Then we're going to do the exact same thing that we've done right here, but we're going to do it below the line. So we're going to curve like that. And also on the other side. Okay. And you know, we can check to make sure that we've made them kind of the same on both sides. Looks like little fish. Okay. Now, inside these football shapes that we've created, we're now going to put the circles or the eyes. That's what the shape that we'll be using. So it's going to touch the top of this, curve around, and touch the bottom. When we first draw this, it looks like a person is wide awake. That's because it will need to draw some eyelids on there. Okay. So the eyelids are going to also curve along with the top of the eye right here. And see, this is like the corner of the eye, so we'll draw a line like that. The lower you put the lids, the sleepier the person looks. And the higher up, the more awake. So you kind of want a little bit like that. Now, one thing that once you get the eyelids right, this is where you can be like, realize that like this part of the circle here is going to get erased because you can't see through the eyelids. Okay. Something like that. And I know this looks a little bit strange to start off with, but when we start adding shading to this, things are going to look a lot more realistic. Okay, so we've got the whites of the eyes, we've got the iris. Let's go ahead and do the pupil. So I usually do sort of just a shade in like that to see if I like it. Okay, and whether you notice it or not, you do have a lower lid too. So you can bring, you know, sometimes bring it in like this. Okay. Okay. And that's, oh, I'm sorry, almost forgot the eyebrows. So the eyebrows are above here and they're going to curve along with the top of the eye. And right now we're just putting sort of the arch in there. They line up with the inside corner of the eye. I know these are very teeny tiny eyebrows, but we'll fix them. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes if I want to make sure like, oh, that it's the arch or the top of the eye is the same, I can do a guideline going across and then I can erase that later. Remember, it starts right about here. And that's all we're going to do for the eyes right now. Make sure to check out the next video for our nose and our mouth.